Good morning, everyone. How's it going? So today we're going to do KRETS. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a plugin from Klevgrand. Let me get the right camera on here. I'll just read it, okay? KRETS is a modular environment that can be used in any DAW compatible with audio unit or VST format. The application is based on a set of modules that can be connected in different ways, where focus is on low-level audio DSP processing. There are almost no ready-made effects to hook into an audio stream. The purpose is for the user to create these more or less from scratch. By combining mathematical expressions and functions available as modules, a plethora of audio effects can be created, anything from a compression algorithm to generative soundscapes. So this is a really cool, currently free plugin. I don't know if it's going to stay free, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'll put a link in the chat right now. So unlike a modular synth sort of plugin, this is like creating just one module of a modular synth. You connect input to output with whatever you want in between. I've made a chorus, a delay, a phaser, and something else. I don't remember what else. But yeah, it's a lot of fun and pretty cool to have this sort of thing available. I think what is called? I think Reactor is like this. If you have the full version, I don't. I've only played with some pre-made things in Reactor, but it sounds like it's a pretty similar thing. So I'm gonna open this up, and yeah, this is what you get. You get input and output boxes that you can drag around, and some wires you can put in between. I've got my stream set to normal latency, so I can't remember. I think that's like a 3-second delay. So conversation between you and me might be a little bit laggy, but if you put anything you want in the chat, I will try to respond to it as we get to it, or as I see it. I don't know. There's a pretty long lag, definitely. All right, looks like we got about 30 people watching right now. So this is, I really like this plugin. Let's start off with, I guess, some of the public patches, I suppose. There's lots of different things that have just come up in the past day or so. There weren't any of the tutorials in here when I first got my hands on this last week. So I think we need a sound before we can process it. So let's just get a loop. I don't know. Let's just take this and loop it. So I'll do one of my own patches. Basic phaser. And this is pretty much what I did with the re-EQ video yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So what we have here is the input. The signal gets split on the left and right channels each. One goes directly to a volume control at the output, and then there's 4 all-pass filters in series. The blue wires here are parameters, and so doing lots of things like taking the host parameters, which is these knobs, processing it by taking the BPM as a frequency. These are multiplying, that's going into this value, goes into the frequency of the sine wave oscillator. This is turning a voltage from the sine wave into a factor, to a 0 to 1 voltage or message instead of a -1 to +1. And then we've got a parameter splitter, splits this parameter into 4, and that way I can send the same signal to multiple things, combine them in different ways. So I'm doing things like taking the parameter to frequency, that goes directly to the all pass frequency. And I've got other math stuff. I think I could probably fix this or make it a little bit better if I took this, put that before the splitter, then I wouldn't need 5 of these. But anyways, pretty interesting stuff. Mark, I think you just missed when I posted. There's a link in the chat that can get you to the plugin. Where'd that website go? This website, once you sign up for you need an account here, but you can download this and try it for free. It's in public alpha right now, so it's definitely not complete. I had one crash on the first day, but then the second day, I think I probably spent like 3 hours with it and didn't have a problem. So here's a phaser that I made using KRETS. So I have basic volume control and a frequency control. So it's pretty basic. You can assign up to 8 parameters. After a while, it becomes quite a pain to like connect parameters and disconnect and then split and then all this stuff to make it, just to add one feature, you've got to add in like so much stuff. All right, so that's the phaser. Here's the tremolo. Tremolo. Everyone always bugs me about how you say it. And this one I put an oscilloscope to show the shape. So there's a shape control, which basically makes it between like a square and sine. I'm actually going through a tube saturation on the oscillator to give it a shape. KRETS means circuit in Swedish. That makes sense now. I knew it was something, and it's probably something I need to like roll my R for, but I just can't do that. See, I was thinking it was like short for creates, but circuit makes a lot of sense as well. So, so this is a tremolo using a oscillator to control the gain on a channel. I'm using a tube saturator to change the LFO shape. I'm basically just distorting the sine wave until it becomes a square wave. So, yeah, again, just a very simple thing. Here's the delay that the delay circuit is kind of pre-built. There is like there's a sample delay and a kind of a normal audio delay. And the only parameter you can change on it is the delay time. So if I remember correctly, this does get the tempo from the song. or from the project. BPM as time, yeah. So we got feedback control, mix. Most of these other parameters aren't connected, I don't think. So the delay 1 knob controls both of the delays, the left and right delays. Where's the input? Here's the input. Controls both the left and right delays at the same time, and then I have an offset to add just another shorter delay. So this is a minimum of 0.01 for a second delay on one side. This is all making sense to everyone so far? Again, here's a chorus. So a chorus is a delay that has an LFO on its delay time to vary the amount of delay by a very short amount. I'm restricting this to 0.3 to 0.03 to 0.1. And because it's been 2 days since I did this, I don't remember really anything else that's going into this. But yeah, I mean, I think it works. Put a high pass and a low pass on this. So dry signal, wet signal. So I don't like that one as much, but it was interesting to put in the high pass and low pass filters in there as well. All right, so let's look at some of the public patches. Resonator unit using delays. Some of these might get loud, and I've never loaded these before, so I'm not sure. I'll keep my hand on the... It's pretty interesting to see how people approach these. Does it do anything? Oh, there we go. So it's a really interesting plugin for making experimental things. You know, maybe don't venture into this plugin when you're in the middle of a mix. But if you know what you're doing, I think you can make some really cool stuff. And these examples are at least helpful for figuring out how things are used. don't know why they would use 2 knobs for wet and dry. There's actually a module for dry wet mix. So this one actually makes sound on its own. It's pretty cool. My CPU does not enjoy this one. There's another phaser. This one included a feedback control. Let's see, parameter 3. Multiplies by 0.96, goes into a gain. So the output of the all pass goes into the gain, it goes back to a splitter, which goes into the all pass again. Makes sense. Can you make MIDI effects with it too? Good question. It was in, let's see, I think it was in utilities. No. I did see MIDI somewhere. There's MIDI note to frequency. I guess it gets MIDI input. I don't think I've tried it with MIDI yet, or I haven't seen any of the patches using that. So here's from the tutorial, the Tremolo effect. I'm gonna just keep saying it wrong. It bothers people. It bothers me that I have to second guess it every time. So this one doesn't have any user parameters that we can adjust in here. But we could probably modify this. Let's do that. Let's just take this one and put in the host values, host parameter. And so instead of user value of 5, how is it doing this? Because that would be 5 hertz, I think. Wouldn't it? Frequency 5 would be 5 hertz. Weird arpeggiator would be cool. Yeah, I don't know if it would actually output MIDI. I'm pretty sure that the output is only audio. So you could probably do like a pitch shifted audio arpeggiator sort of thing. Like I think you can do pitch, maybe. These are the pre-built modules. So just a sine wave, delay, low pass, high pass, band pass, all pass, gain, noise generator, sample delay, envelope follower, gain computer, 4-band split, peak filter, soft clip, tube saturation, wet, dry mix. So if you know the math for any of this stuff you want to do, you can do quite a lot of stuff. But so if user value is 5 and host parameter only gives you between 0 and 1, it means we need to do a a multiply on here. Let's just change this to 10. Disconnect this. Connect that to the sine. So there I've taken the host parameter, which is a value from 0 to 1, using this module to multiply it by another number, which is this other user value component in math, user value. So I'm multiplying it by 10 to get a number up to 10. But we could change this to 100, and now the frequency will go up to 100. Right? And when it's that high, then it starts being less of a flutter and more of a distortion. So let's change this to 1,000. 2,000. So we've kind of like layered in another note. Is that? I think you guys will have to help me. That's kind of like a ring mod effect. Right? All right, so let's replace some of these other things. So we've got the frequency on a knob. So the sine wave goes into another, no wait. For some reason I thought there was two there. Hello everyone. Convert to factor. So converting to factor, audio input signal between -1 and +1 to a value between 0 and 1. Okay? Because each of these modules require different types of numbers coming in. So the depth value, that's another simple one. We can do basically the same thing. I'll just, I will take this, I can alt drag to copy something. And we'll take the number 2. I'm probably breaking this, but we'll see. Ronald says, super interested in modular, but scared of the cost of a wall of synths. Yeah, so this is a little bit different. This is kind of making one of those modules. But if you want to get into modular synths, then definitely try out VCV Rack if you haven't already, because it's free and pretty awesome. I think signing up for the website only took me a couple minutes. I think there's an email that had to confirm. Okay. Let's go back to the public patches. So they didn't connect any parameters, so we can't like adjust volume in here. But that's fine, I guess. Split mono signal. Let's just put in a gain. No, you're thinking of reactor blocks. Ronald said, is that the NI thing that was released? I believe that's reactor blocks that you're thinking of. VCV rack is what Omri Cohen is mostly doing on his channel. Omri, you're still there? He was in the chat earlier today. But yeah, it's like a full, every possible modular synth function you can imagine is in there. All right, so with this one, they've got the input module. They sum that to mono using the merger. Then they split it again. So it goes to a dry signal going through a gain. So this is value of 1, just sets it at normal volume coming out. And then I put it through another volume control. And then the rest is split and then merged with a feedback signal. Delay, user value of 0.2. So let's connect that delay time to a host parameter. And the feedback control, get rid of this, put that there. So param 1 should be time, and param 2 is feedback. And it's interesting that their delay, it's not like a normal digital delay where it just repeats forever. There is kind of like it decays over time. I don't think it's going to go forever. Maybe it will, but it seems to... It seems to decay quite quickly from that. Can you input signals from different tracks? No. Just stereo input, stereo output. So this is what someone called a basic high-pass filter. So here we're seeing VU meters. They've connected parameter 1 for the cutoff frequency. They're converting parameter, which is 0 to 1, to frequency between 20 and 20K. Now, I did see another, that reminds me of another function in here, was a range control. And so this one has a range of 20 to 20K. So we could change this range here to be from 100 to 500. And if we connect that in line here, nope, that doesn't work. Why is that? Why didn't that work? Some of these things I get confused by because of the ranges, or the types of signals going in. I'd probably have to do it with the minimum and maximum modules, and then a bunch of user values to do it if I want to restrict the range. So this one should be a reverb. Okay. What are they actually doing here? They're splitting. They're summing to mono. They're splitting it to 2 channels. And one goes directly to the output. The other is split into, no. What is this? This is a merger that lets another signal come through. That must be the feedback. And then there's a 4-way split, which goes to 3 delays. Each of those has a, that's connected to what? Oh, each of those is connected to one of the feedback knobs. So, is it? No, that's not right. Shouldn't be the feedback knob. If this is in series. I don't know. Mario says, looks ugly. Yeah, I mean, we're basically building a circuit. So it's got to kind of imagine this as the inside of a modular synth. So what am I looking for? I've got so if you're looking for something like this, this is a totally different thing, kind of like inside of one of these modules. Yeah, the way that they've got this set up is kind of weird, because it has to pass through this gain control instead of having a splitter after each delay that goes into a gain and then sends back into the input. I think they've done that. I think they've done that wrong. Whoever made this, because yeah, they've got each of these knobs connected and labeled feedback, but it doesn't feedback. There's nothing from here going back to the input, is there? There's this one that goes back to the input. So it does feedback, but the gain controls, there should be like just one of these on this wire. Let's see if I can fix this without breaking it. So, do I have enough? Is there a four-way merger? There isn't a four-way merger. Right, so this output goes to this gain input, this gain goes into here. So that's a feedback loop now. And feedback 1 and 2 are not connected. Yeah, this stuff is complicated, but it's pretty fun, and it's like feels very rewarding when you figure something out and you finally get it to work, and you're like, I mean, for a lot of people this is just basic math, but if you can't even remember how to play guitar chords, this is a fun puzzle. So yeah, I think I've got this right. So the 3 delays go into the feedback control and the main wet mix. And also you don't need the gain controls. You can use a wet dry mix. So go DSP dry wet mix. So dry signal is here. The way to manipulate the volume. Oh, you just made one. Okay. Yeah, let me know if you're playing along with this at home. I find this really fun. I don't know how interesting it is on the stream, but I think if I'm having fun, maybe you guys will as well. Okay, so dry, wet mix. Okay, that's feedback. Param 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why I have a hard time. Like, if they just put numbers here, that would be such a little but helpful improvement. So that's the input. That's the output. Is wet mix controlled to anything? Parameter 4? No. So we've got the 3 delay times. And then the feedback seems to send regardless of. I think you should probably have another overall volume control maybe. So these two are just to merge the 3 signals into one. So I'm going to put this gain control as kind of the overall wet level there. Did I break it? I think I auto-muted. I broke something. I think I broke it. So let's try loading another patch. Yeah. All right, so we're back to one of the ones that I made. Let's follow this signal flow. Input left channel is split. One side goes to the dry input. The other side goes into a merger, which goes to a delay, and then another splitter, and then to the wet. So just a simple, the left side gets delayed by 1 delay. There is a feedback control here, which sends the signal back to the input, which goes to the delay. Then I've got another split from the right channel. The right channel is split into 2 channels. It goes, one side goes to the dry, wet, same as before. Second side goes into a merger so that we can get a feedback in. Goes through a delay. That delay goes into another delay, which is our sort of timing offset for one side. Goes into a splitter, which goes into a gain for I don't remember. The gain at the end of I don't remember. What is that even connected to? Parameter 7? Feedback? Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is just another feedback control. So the left and right feedback controls are linked. Now this here is a multiplier, no, addition. So I'm taking the delay parameter here, adding 0.0001. Ronald is asking, green means, blue means. Green is the audio signal, and blue is a parameter. And there's another color if you take not this. if you do something like take a sine wave and run it through a something like you can take the output of a parameter, and then you'll get this cyan line, and that's you're processing a math through a audio processor. Freddie says, all I wanted was to save money by adding an extra 1/4-inch speaker jack to a combo. Learned to solder that day. And years later, I've built 2 pedals, 1 guitar, checking circuit plugins. Yeah. Being able to solder is a great skill. You save yourself a ton of money in repairs. But yeah, it definitely leads to buying more and more stuff, building your own stuff. But I mean, as long as you're having fun, this is all just, we only have one life. So, spend it doing things that are interesting and fun for you. All right. So what can we do with this to make it more interesting? Here's how it sounds now. I haven't gotten into any of the iterators or signaling. It seems like some logic functions that it's always been something that I've struggled with. One thing we can do is add in a filter to the feedback. So let's take one of the DSP modules, go to let's take a low pass. And let's take the output of the feedback volume into the low pass input. Low pass input goes up to the top of the delay chain. And we'll take what are the 2 inputs? Frequency and Q. We'll take frequency, connect that to param 3. I know I've only done that to one side, but it doesn't sound like I've done that right. No, because this is expecting a signal between 20 and 20K, so we need to do a transformation of parameter to frequency. So I'll just put this over here, and I need a parameter splitter. So, oh, come on. Sometimes these wires don't want to draw. So take another one of these. Yeah. And where is that feedback output? So take the gain into the left channel, low pass, and then back to the input of the loop. And so filter frequency now should control the left and right channels and use frequency. I feel like we've got more signal on one side than the other. And I'm not sure why. Does anyone spot what I did wrong here? I feel like more of the dry signal gets through than it should. This is controlled by this, which is parameter 8. I don't know. Okay, so we added a filter to the feedback loop. So as it feeds back, it should also be filtered. I'm trying to follow the chat, but I'm not sure if you're talking to me or or each other. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Let's build one from scratch. So something I would like to actually use is the random. Output's a random number between 0 and the input parameter value. All right, so I guess I need a user value. Let's put 1. Connect that to there. And then what do we want this to actually control? The delay, maybe? So factor to I don't remember which one I need. I don't know. Let's take a merger to make this mono, just for simplicity. And make a merger. Nope. Need the other one. Audio splitter. Perfect. Okay, so not a great sound. Host parameters. So let's replace the user value with a host parameter value. And I'll probably have to multiply this into something that's actually a useful amount. So maybe times 100. It's not even playing anymore. Okay, so I feel like I need the I don't know. Can I make the delay slow down? Yeah, I can. So I'll use an audio delay. So BPM as time. So I'm delaying this random amount. So that's not working. Can anyone think of a good use for random with a delay? Like, how do I get this to be a useful value? Make a step filter. What's a step filter? Let's take parameter frequency in there. So I'm not sure if I've done this right, but output is 20. What? Let's do parameter into there, then randomize this, and then no. What I wanted this to do was actually randomize the filter. Can I use a sine wave into a random? I don't know. Doesn't seem to have any effect. Okay, let's do something like a gain control. And all right, now I'll do random. So I made a white noise generator. All right, so let's take another sine wave and a low pass. Let's take parameter 2. No, this one. I think at this point we're all doing our own things. That's okay. All right, so I want the output of the filter. Let's get rid of these. Now I've got no signal. What happened? All right, so why did I not get the oscillator to work with filter frequency. Does that make sense? Oh, right, because this is... I think it was too slow. Okay, so this is kind of working. I'm going to take the, what is it? The range function. Let's say 200 to 10,000. No, I should make this between, I don't know. Hi, Mike. How you doing? Yeah, we're just having fun with this. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but we're using the oscillator as an audible source, and I'm trying to use another oscillator to control the low pass. And this would be much easier in a modular synth. Okay, so let's take that and then set up some delays, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I have a really hard time with thinking about DSP in a without blocks. Like when I'm writing the video processor code stuff, it's like I get so lost. I get even more lost than this, even though it's basically the same in the end. You know, it's someone's made the code for it. Um, so let's run the. What am I doing here? I think I need this at the top. So signal's going to come in here, out here, and then okay, I give up on that. All right, I think I've had enough. We crashed the app that we were playing with, and yeah, I'm tired. Got to go eat. Hope you guys have had a good time, and hope you found this somewhat interesting. If you are interested in that software, check it out at whatever that website was, Klevgrand.se. There's a website. Once you sign up, click here. It'll ask you to sign up, and you'll get it into your user account. So that's it. Thanks so much. Give the video a thumbs up, and yeah,